Hey YouTube, my name's Jamie and today I wanted to make a quick video to show you this, the much hyped Droid X360. Now, what is a Droid X360 you say? Good question. Basically, it's a Chinese knockoff of a PlayStation Vita running Android. Its main claim to fame is that you can use the physical controls to play a whole swag of emulators and classic games. Really cool. However, today I didn't really want to make it so much as a review video, rather to show you a bit of a project I've been working on. But first, a quick tour of the device. It is running Android 4.0, as I said. It's running on an all-winner A10 CPU. Now that's a 1 GHz CPU. It does say on the box 1.5, that's a lie. However, it does include the Mali 400 MHz GPU. Now that's quite a good GPU. It's found in a lot of top-shelf devices, and so that's one thing it does have going for it. It has a 5-inch capacitive touchscreen. It's got physical controls, as you can see, a D-pad, buttons, 2 analog sticks. Well, we'll call them analog sticks for now. We'll get to that. It does have a micro SD card slot, and it also has HDMI out, which is a cool feature. Now, I wanted to clear up one thing straight away at the start of this video. A lot of you will have seen Qbert Addict 1's original review video, in which he gave this device a pretty negative rap. And I wanted to say right off the get-go that everything he states in his video is entirely true. Unfortunately, out of the box, this device is a bit of a disappointment. It's got some issues with the controls. They're quite spongy. There's a bit of an issue with the driver. It was missing key presses. The analog sticks aren't actually analog sticks. They're just digitally mapped. And the touchscreen was a little unresponsive, a little laggy, that sort of thing. However, what I wanted to show you today is some work that I've been doing on addressing these issues in the form of a script. Now, it's called the SuperScript. It has 3 main functions. The first is to clean up the install of Android that comes preloaded on this. It comes with a lot of Chinese bloatware and crap, and it removes all of that. It also does a lot of system tweaking, so tweaking up the touchscreen, Wi-Fi, battery, that sort of thing makes a big difference. The second main thing that it does is it actually tricks the Google Play Store into believing that this is a Samsung Galaxy S2, which allows you to pretty much download anything. Which is kind of cool. The last thing it does is that it includes a patch for the keypad driver. Now that's been written by a guy named Furin on the Dingunity forums, and it does a lot to address the issues of the controls and missed button presses and that sort of thing. So, what I want to show you today is how it sort of works. I'll just fire it up for you now. Now this is a stock Droid X360, the 8GB version. It has just been patched with the SuperScript. So you'll notice the first thing on firing it up is that it is actually quite responsive. The touchscreen is nice, there's no noticeable lag when switching through pages. The app drawer opens pretty much instantaneously, and you can see there's no lag switching through there as well. It does make the UI a lot more responsive. I have to admit I am cheating a little bit in this video, and when I say cheating I mean that I have overclocked the CPU with set CPU. The reason why I've done this is 2 reasons. A, I wanted to show you that it is possible. I've got this running at 1.2 GHz or 1200 MHz. And B, I wanted to show you that it does make a significant difference when running your emulators. Now, I haven't included set CPU in the SuperScript, just out of respect for the developers. You can pick it up on the Google Play Store. It'll cost you about $2. As I say, you can see I'm at 1.2 there. It won't run any faster than that. Don't try. However, it is rock solid at 1.2. You can see also there I've got Facebook, so I do have full access to the Google Play Store. But I know there's only one thing you guys really want to see, and that is how well does it emulate games. Good question. The answer is relatively well. It does come preloaded with 6 or 7 different emulators. It's got N64, it's got PlayStation, it's got Genesis and Game Boy, etc. I'm just going to show you 2 today, just because I don't have a lot of time. The first one I'm going to show you is Nintendo 64. Now, the observant among you will notice that I'm not running the same emulator that comes preloaded with the Droid. Technically, it is the same. What comes preloaded is a Chinese older version of N64 OID. All I've done is remove that and replace it with the latest version of N64 OID. So I'll fire that up for you now. We'll have a look at some Super Mario 64. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. So I'll just quickly load up a save state so that we don't have to go through the intro. And there you go. So you can see right away that it does actually run quite smoothly. There's no noticeable lag, jitter or audio issues. The controls are relatively responsive. It's a little awkward to play in this position, but hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. Now N64 is probably one of the more difficult emulators to run for this device, and it does seem to handle it quite well. But that's not to say it isn't without issues. You do get the occasional jitter, audio stutter, that sort of thing. It is also very ROM dependent. I think it really depends on what games you're playing and the quality of the ROM you're using. Not all games are going to work as well as this one. Some games aren't going to work at all. But you do have to remember that we are emulating. And that brings with it a whole host of problems that we even have on the desktop PC, so just keep that in mind. The other thing you'll notice is that I'm not running it full screen. Now that's just optional, you can actually stretch it out to full screen, I just prefer to run it in the 4:3. So you can see that runs quite well. I'll just close out of this one, and we'll show you the Super Nintendo as well. Some Donkey Kong Country 3, I think. And again, I'll just load up a save state. And again, you can see it is running quite smoothly. There's no noticeable issues. Everything is quite responsive. Now it is worth noting that there is still a physical sponginess about the controls, and I think that will put off a lot of the hardcore crowd. If you're into your Twitch gaming, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and that sort of thing, you may have issues. However, with everyday games such as this one, it's more than playable. As you can see, I'm not very good. So anyway, what's the verdict? Should you buy one? The jury's still out on that one, obviously, but I think it really depends on what you're looking for. Is this the be-all and end-all of handheld emulation? Probably not. I think the sponginess of the controls will put off a lot of the hardcore players. However, as a device, and for the asking price, which is about $100 depending on your exchange rate, you simply don't buy a better piece of kit. It's got a capacitive touchscreen, it runs Android beautifully after the SuperScript, and as you can see, it is quite capable of playing your classic emulators. It does do what it says on the box. Where do you get one? I've noticed a few Chinese wholesalers are selling them. However, I purchased mine from a company called Wilgoo. They specialise in handheld emulation, and I would definitely recommend them. They've been very helpful, customer service was great, and it was delivered to my door in 4 days, which is a far cry from some of the stories I've heard from the likes of AliExpress and others. That's about it, guys. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to address them. I'll post a couple of links in the description for you as far as where you can get the SuperScript and where you can buy one of these. That's about it. Cheers.